Everyone, and a blessed Sunday to you. We are back up here behind the cross. So in church, if you're in the sanctuary and you're looking left, for those of you who've been here, there's a big cross here. Well, this hides kind of our swell chamber. I don't know if it's a swell chamber. It's more of an air chamber. But we're back here behind the thing. It took a lot for us to get up here, and this is a true fashion of the Interlude, is going behind the scenes, bringing everything that you wouldn't normally see while you're here at church. So as we wait we're going to have Dr. Peterman come back here, but he was obviously just playing the postlude, so it's going to take him just a smidge to get up here. It's a beautiful service today from Pastor Jeff, and examining your relationship with God. So certainly consider that this week while you are going through your week. We usually post all of our sermons to a podcast, so if you subscribe to our podcast, which you should, you will get all that online. So we're going to come back over here, and hopefully we see Dr. Peterman coming up, because I want to show all you how Dr. Peterman comes, how we get up here. Now look at this. Here he comes. So up, and this is how we get to the inner sanctum of the sanctuary. And I'm going to grab you a mic here. Make sure we're on. Good morning.
Hello. Didn't have time to check my hair. Hope it's okay.
You look great. Well, here we are. I was just saying, we're back here behind the cross in the inner sanctum. Now, I'm assuming you just opened these little.
Yes, I have Jennifer prepared to not only play us chimes, but also show us a little bit of the shades as well.
Oh, nice. So we were back here starting, and heard the chimes. It was lovely.
Oh, you already heard them?
Yeah, we heard a little bit, but I want to go talk to him about it over there. So let's Chase, can you go back, and we're gonna go back here. And like I say, it's first of all, Dr. Peterman, let's talk about
what is
this elephant in the room that's here skirting around, that's draped in fine ruggery.
Well, when I need to take a nap, I come in here. There's lots of mattress.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
When we added the chimes and harp in 2018, and subsequently opened up this wall here in order to hear them, well, we ran into a little problem, or I did, that there's a giant blower in here as well. So I was bothered by all the air and the noise that was coming out. So I just covered it up gradually with comforter after comforter after comforter, and even carpets and tapestries, whatever.
Until you got to the noise comfort level which I mean is important for you. This is you base your entire life off of hearing things.
Yes, and hearing what I want to, and trying not to hear what is extra and doesn't need to be heard.
Yeah, because there's a little airflow. I don't know if you guys can hear it here, but there's a little airflow coming.
Yeah, that is wind leaks that have happened over the years. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's fairly normal. Could we spend a few $1,000s to have it fixed? Yeah, but it's just going to happen again. So what's the point? So I put some cloth to kind of reduce the excess sound, but it doesn't influence the playing of the harps at all.
Nice.
Oh, Jennifer's closed. I think she's ready for her break, so she wants us to.
Okay. All right. So
shall we see the shades in action?
Okay, let's go.
Right,
We're gonna trim on the shades here. So behind the cross are these little shutters that can be operated from the organ console.
Yes. If you'll see the 3 gas pedal looking things above the pedal board, those are what operate this set of shades and another set of shades on the right side of the console.
Maybe we'll during the 9:15 we'll see if we can get a close-up of you operating those. Yeah.
Let's see the chimes, shall we?
Let's see the chimes. So we're gonna go back over here to the right behind us, the chimes, and I think she's gonna start them. This might be a little. Nice.
It is definitely a very physical action. There are hammers behind the chimes up at the top there that are striking, indeed, the top of the chimes. So you can't really see it from here, but that's why the chimes are swinging. And like most of our pipes, the bars are arranged in one side is C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. So it creates this kind of triangle formation. Otherwise, it would just be one giant lineup.
So I noticed that you like to start the service with the chimes, which is a nice touch. It's very churchy. Oh, and I really like it.
Thanks.
So anyway, just thought I'd throw that.
Yeah, that's
So-
my cue for the tech booth back there that my Prelude's about to start, so they can prepare the slides and whatever else that they're going to do.
It's very helpful.
Oh,
it
thank
really is. So, all right, what else we got back? So we got the chimes, and we got this thing that. What is this?
This is the harp, and Jennifer's not prepared to play the harp.
Okay.
So when I first began working here in 2016, we had a stop for the harp, we had a stop for the chimes, and even for the bird warbler, but none of those things existed. So for years and years, I had just dreamed of having those stops even before I became the organist here, just subbing and whatnot. Like, why don't these work? So this was part of the pair, the duo that we got with the chimes, and it's a very unique instrument. There's very few of them around, especially in Arizona. You can certainly find them, but ours 100% plays. I say that because they're somewhat of a nightmare to maintain and just to make sure that they're 100% playing. So I make sure to keep an assessment of the playability of them, and it's a really beautiful sound. Here you can see it. Obviously, when you're in the sanctuary, you can't see it. But if you've ever been to Organ Stop Pizza, these are the instruments that are hanging above the ceiling. If you've seen the xylophone-looking instruments, so they're hanging kind of 90 degrees facing down from this perspective here.
Yeah, they've got a there at that organ stuff.
They
Monkeys
do.
playing and
They do.
whatnot. It's quite well. Just going back to the having a stop for the thing and it not working. It was kind of a nice forethought of planning into this organ console. Yeah.
Sure enough. And I thought that this organ is really too large not to have more toys. It came with its cymbal stand, which is a chimey little device. I don't think we can climb high enough to see it today. It's pretty far up into the facade, but I call these toys.
They are, and it's really fun.
They're churchy, but yeah, they're toys.
It's really fun.
And you really can do it just like a harp on this, and it sounds pretty much like a harp.
And it's such a beautiful sound, anyway.
Sure enough.
Just before we're going to go over over in the pipes here in a second, but here's some of just the things that control all this stuff, which is fascinating. I mean, and this is all controlled by the console down there, yeah.
Right. They installed this area right here with the harp and chimes. So prior to that, it was more just a fuse box and a few other things. And actually, I was glad that the organ builders were here still once I was tinkering around with these new toys, because I was trying to demonstrate some fun things that you can do with the chimes if you want to sound like a boxing ring, like ding ding. You actually play 4 notes at once, and I blew a fuse right away. So they got I don't know all the technical terms, but they got a different, more powerful fuse. So I wouldn't blow anything.
Well,
with chimes, unless it's special effect, you really don't want to play them very fast. In fact, if you see me playing,
it's very deliberate.
If you hold it down, it looks a little silly compared to the resonance of the chime. So I just
there's something to playing the organ about. I mean, there's a beauty to it.
Yes.
I mean, you don't just.
Well, if you see an
like
instrumentalist, like next week we have Scottsdale Phil, and I guarantee that the lady that plays the orchestral chimes up there, she's going to do just like that. So I mirror that in my playing at the organ.
Yeah. It's nice. It's a nice touch.
Thank you.
All right, let's make our way over to the actual pipes of the church.
All right,
so
we're going to make sure that Chase is not only looking at me, but looking down at this giant hole.
Yeah,
here.
as you saw, there's a gigantic hole, and we don't want to watch anybody break a leg or whatnot. And it is if you see how delicate it is here. Before we go, let's talk about this thing.
This is a static reservoir here. It is making sure that all of the wind coming out of the blower is at the proper wind pressure.
Oh.
So there's a lot of craziness happening right there, but this makes it more manageable. So it's all going to be a very organized. You can push. If we were playing and if I pushed it down, all of a sudden you might hear a little wobble in the organ.
Oh.
But if I push a lot of keys down at once with all the sounds, you would see this also going down, because it's going to try and push the air pressure to maintain what's being lost.
And
that's going out of the pipes.
Somewhat kind of like a reservoir, like a
in a way. And there's many other reservoirs too,
Yeah.
but this is the initial one that takes the bulk of the wind.
Okay, let's get in there, Chase. I'm going to kind of make sure you don't. I know you're young, but. All right, here we are. Here we are. This.
You're getting some great shots there. So the camera is probably pointing at more reservoirs beneath the pipes, all the inner workings. Chase, if you
I'll
wanted
hold, and if Chase, you want to go up. You got it? All right.
Okay.
Because as you said before, this is we just had it tuned, right? The organ,
Oh,
a lot of it.
we had the entire organ tuned.
And if we touch one of these things, it really could throw it at a tune.
Yes, please don't touch. What we have right here, I can show it in this perspective. This is probably our most odd sound. It's called the roar shamai in the pedal, and it's a very nasally, fairly high-pitched reed. But any instrument that sounds like a trumpet, bassoon, clarinet. We don't have a clarinet, but we have a crumhorn and trumpets. I think I already said that. They have these pins here, and they're tuned by tapping down or by raising up with another little metal device. So anything that has a pin is going to be in the family that we call reeds. And this right here is part of our 32-foot bombards. And you have more along the wall there.
So what? There's a lot of metal pipes up here, silver ones and some really decorative bronze ones, and then you got the wood things. What's the difference between the metal and the wood?
The metal is primarily going to, well, you can have a whole variety of families, whether it be made of wood or of metal. Oftentimes, the metal pipes are going to be either reeds or what we call the principals. Principals is the family of principals is what I use primarily for our hymn singing, because a principal 842, it has a very pure, precise tone, and the flutes, which are more often made of wood but not necessarily, the flutes, their pitch is a little more wide, so it's not as precise sounding. So I do use those with the hymns, but the principals, which is what is the front of the facade here, right here, those are going to just support congregational singing a lot more. Whereas if I'm playing with a solo singer, I'll use more of the flutes because they can have a softer sound. Oh, fun right here, Chase. Can you get I think these are green. Are these green?
Yeah, they're green.
Okay. These are the only fake pipes that we have. We have,
really? No.
I think, 4 sets in the front. So these are supposed to imitate the look of a cactus.
Oh, okay.
So you can see they're just
Right,
4
like
chunks of wood there.
Kind of a saguaro.
Yep, that's the idea. Yeah.
Go ahead. Were you finished with that, Don?
Yeah.
Okay. So over here along these the front pipes, it looks like those nails that are kind of taped to the back of there.
Yes, in fact, more of our organ could benefit from those. This is a pipe rack that's keeping them from toppling over, whether it be forwards or sideways. And actually, the last few times that we've had our organ tune, our tuner will come out holding a pipe that's bent over, because over the years, after warming a bit, some of these pipes, they can sadly fall over if I'm not going up here every single week and just doing an inspection. And invariably, it's always the low C, so the lowest note of each of our ranks. So right now we have, technically we have 2 pipes that are just bent over. I need to send them away to be repaired.
So these are essentially putting some rigidity and some strength to those
Absolutely,
pipes.
Yeah. Nothing's going to happen to these pipes. And here's another form of a pipe rack.
Right.
But it's being held by the rope there. So, yeah, some of the larger pipes, when they haven't been tied down but are just hanging out, I don't know if you can see this one right here. This particular pipe, there's nothing supporting it except the foot down there. So we're simply hoping that the metal will maintain, but sometimes the metal isn't as strong down at the bottom. So If it topples over, you have to.
Well, it is relatively hot here, so
Yeah, it gets hotter the higher you go, right?
it does. It
Yeah.
does for sure.
And our tuner may make sure that the temperature is consistent. When he tunes it, it has to be the service temperature because that's when we're most often going to use it. So if it's not the actual service temperature, which we ran into that problem 2 weeks ago, he had to wait about 2 hours for one air conditioner to compensate for something that was malfunctioning a little bit.
Now, do these affect the sound or whatever? Does the tuner have to adjust for those little nail things and the rest of the
with the
pipe
principals,
supports?
you tune with the scrolls that are down. Fortunately, principals, which are 8, 4, and 2, that's a conversation for another day. The principals are probably what maintain their tuning the most. So that's probably going to be the last thing that he would worry about. The first thing that a tuner does is focus on the trumpets, bassoons, and many of the orchestral things that you might identify in a symphony, because those are the things that are going to be the most noticeable if they're out of tune, especially any trumpet.
Oh, because those are the ones that are really facing the congregation.
Well, I mean, I guess most of the pipes are facing, but they're so prominent that you're going to hear if any note is out of tune.
Yeah.
Right now, we are primarily in the pedal division, so the organ is divided up into divisions more or less. So except for these front pipes here, which span the entire organ, we're in the pedal division. The middle section is what we call the grate. And then the far division over there, for the most part, is what we call the positive. And in terms of keyboards, well, the pedal is the pedal.
Right.
The grate is the second keyboard up.
The mono.
The manual. The manual.
Okay, manual. Well, I tried.
I just spotted. So here's a pipe. You won't be able to see it.
Oh,
but here's
looks
a pipe
like it's tilting a little bit. Yeah.
to bend.
Oh.
So I'm going to have to go in there and see if we can proactively bend it back into shape.
Well, I'm glad we came up here today. I mean,
And then you see this. Sorry, I'm going off topic here, but just fun facts. You see the blue painter's tape there? These caps tend to slide down. That's how they're tuned. But if they get really loose and are commonly going out of tune, you can put a little tape there, and that'll help maintain it a lot.
The world is held up by tape.
Isn't it, though? There's a lot of tape up here, but usually blue for some reason. Don't know why.
Oh, funny. We honestly could be up here for an hour and talk about all this stuff. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but can we just talk about really quickly before we go? I know we're going to run out of time, but on here, but how do you maintain it?
The bird warbler maintains pretty well. I occasionally put some distilled water in it, and then with a small combination of oil, not black oil, but cooking oil, and I also leave the towel over top of it. The oil is going to help to maintain the water from evaporating, but the towel even more so. And I probably only have to tinker with it maybe every 4 or 5 months. And with my foot, I just do a tap, 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 tap to imitate a bird.
That's crazy. I love the sound of it. It's an amazing sound.
And it's the only bird warbler that the Berghaus Company has made.
Oh, which is out of Chicago.
We were the only crazy ones to actually ask
for a bird warbler. Well, funny.
Since there was a stop.
Well, Dr. Peterman, this has been fantastic and fascinating and amazing and everything else. We hope you all have enjoyed this, and we'll look forward to the shade pull at the start of the 9:15 for these shades.
Pull.
Yeah, the shade pull.
Yes.
All right. With that, everyone, we thank you so much for tuning in this week, and we hope to see you next week here on the Interlude. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.